the message of your film is essentially be nice, don't be an asshole, and people are saying, no, 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 this film is overly political and it is weighing in on my side of politics, I think that you should have to take a really hard look at what your personal beliefs are. Because if your belief is, no, no, sometimes injustice good, actually, maybe you're on the wrong side of history.
Is the new Superman movie woke, or are people just becoming more media literate? James Gunn's new Superman movie came out earlier this month, and it has been causing quite the stir online in its first few weeks of release. In the film, we see a conflict between two countries, one of which being a more powerful and heavily armed country invading presumably its neighbouring country who has significantly less defences. People online have been drawing parallels between this conflict in the film and the Israel-Gaza conflict happening in the Middle East.
It's definitely been branded super woke by people who make their money by making up a woke and getting mad at it. But it's also been branded political, I think, on both sides of the political spectrum in a way that doesn't necessarily feel like it's actually accurate. I feel like as a movie, it has a very broad kind of theme and ethos, which, you know, all movies have got to be saying something. And this one happens to be saying, it's good to be nice, it's good to have friends, it's good to do the right thing even if it's difficult. And the fact that that's become a political message, I think, says a lot about the situation we're currently living through.
With how heavy and political our news cycle is at the moment, it's no surprise that online this has turned into a bit of a left-wing versus right-wing debate, with many right-wing commentators saying that the people who are pulling these parallels between the film and real life have left-wing brain, politics on the brain, or just saying that the facts just don't add up. Whereas more left-wing commentators have been describing the parallels as chilling and unavoidable.
I think it's sort of 50-50. Like the film definitely wants to say something, and what it's saying would perhaps in a different generation have been totally asinine, but now feels kind of progressive to say, hey, maybe it's not good that we're deporting grandmas who've been, you know, living in a country for 30 years and working at a local laundry, and now they're being treated like Osama bin Laden. For some reason, that's politically contentious. But I think it's a combination of the audience bringing their own life into it as well. Because one film that I'm really fascinated by is Rogue One, which was treated as incredibly political at its time of release. It came out a couple of months after Donald Trump's first election victory. It was not made in a Trump era. It doesn't actually politically say much at all, especially now that we've got Andor, which is a far more political take on the same material. But at the time, it was treated as this hugely revolutionary text because of the time that it was released. It actually had very little to do with the film. It had a lot to do with people walking into that cinema wondering what the hell was going to happen for the next 10 years.
However, when speaking to comicbook.com, James Gunn denied that the film was about the Israel and Gaza conflict. However, he did agree that the new Superman does have very significant political undertones.
I think it has about as much political undertone as almost any superhero movie does. It just happened to be that it's come at a particularly politically contentious time. A lot of people have read Gaza into the conflict that Superman intervenes in. The film was written prior to October 7. It was made possibly post or during that current conflict. But I think what it comes down to is if you are writing an article and you have seen parallels within that and you say New Superman is reflective of the situation in Gaza, then people on both sides of that conflict are going to click. It's an attractive proposition to say that Superman is taking a position on Israel-Palestine for both sides. And honestly, I think if you went in expecting a political narrative, you would be disappointed. My personal read is that this was very clearly written as Russia-Ukraine, and that a decision was made in casting to cast more diversely for, I think the smaller nation is called Jananpur. They're two fictional countries. The larger nation, I would say, is really clearly coded as Russia.
Although James Gunn has worked with DC in the past on movies such as The Suicide Squad, this film is his directorial debut as the co-CEO of the production company, meaning that this new Superman movie really sets up what we can be expecting from DC in the coming future.
I think we should all look forward to Supergirl. I think that that one will actually be a lot of fun, and it is Millie Alcock who's playing Supergirl, who is an Australian who's really good. And yeah, looking forward to seeing her playing like quite a messy Supergirl. I think that one will be a lot of fun.